Hey guys, and welcome to Unit 8, Part 3. We're going to be talking about mood disorders in this section. First, we have major depressive disorder, and this is a disorder where you feel more than just down. It's not sad, it's deeper than that. We also have bipolar disorder. And bipolar disorder is where you typically have episodes of mania or like heightened happiness, and then a depressive state. So it's more than just a mood swing. So the criteria to fit major depressive disorders is one, you have to have both either one or both of the first two plus 3 or more of the rest. So depressed mood most of the day and or markedly diminished interest in pleasure and activities. There has to be a significant increase or decrease in appetite or weight, insomnia or sleeping too much or disrupted sleep, lethargic, fatigue or loss of energy, worthlessness or excessive inappropriate guilt, daily problems thinking, concentrating, or making decisions, and thoughts of death and suicide. Major depressive is not just a reaction. Some people make unfair criticisms of themselves, and others, and saying like, hey, there's nothing to be depressed about. If someone with asthma has an attack, we do not say, what do you have to be gasping about? It's bad enough to have major depressive disorder and still try to go out and be in public. It is very difficult. Depression is everywhere. Depression shows up in people seeking treatment with phobias. And appears worldwide. Per year, depressive episodes happen about 6% of men and 9% of women. And over the course of a lifetime, 12% of Canadians and 17% of Americans experience depression. Although both are common, both depression and the common cold, comparing them does not work. Depression is more of a more dangerous because there's a suicide risk, not as many observable behaviors, lasts longer than a cold, less contagious, and it's not just the sniffles. Although if you are in a depressed state, sometimes when you come out of that, you can get sick pretty easily because your immune system's compromised. Seasonal affective disorder is more than just not liking the winter. This is where you guys have pretty severe depression during the winter every year. My uncle has this, and he has a light bar in his room. And about 1 hour prior to waking up, with his alarm, the light bar slowly turns on and simulates the sun rising. And he has to take extra vitamin D just to get that. He just spent 3 weeks in Hawaii and now another 3 weeks in Costa Rica teleworking in order to help his mental health, because both those places are above 85 degrees right now. Bipolar disorder, this is where we have our depressed mood, exaggerated pessimism, withdrawal, lack of pleasure, and our mania, euphoric, giddy, easily irritated, delight with everything. Many famous and successful people have lived with ups and downs of bipolar. Here are just few. Bipolar disorder show up before adulthood and even puberty. Many young people have cycles from depression and can be extended into rage or mania. The DSM-5 may have new diagnoses for these kids, and that's disruptive mood, it's dysregulation disorder, so not much of bipolar disorder. Why are they so young or common among the young and especially women? Not 100% sure yet, but here's some data. And pretty much women's risk is double that of men's. There's so many symptoms with depression. We have emotional symptoms like sadness, guilt, feeling disconnected, behavioral symptoms, less eye contact, smiling less often, sluggish, tearfulness, cognitive symptoms, hard to think, concentrate, remember, physical symptoms, changes in appetite, insomnia, feelings of anxiety and restlessness. Understanding it, why does depression often go away on its own? Sometimes time heals a mood disorder, especially when it's a reaction to a stressful event. Most of the time, though, if someone has a major depressive disorder, they don't automatically or easily get better with time. A lot of times it takes therapy, sometimes medication, to make coping with it easier. Suicide and self-injury. Every year, 1 million people commit suicide, giving up on the process of trying to cope and improve their emotional well-being. A lot of times we see this happening when people feel frustrated or trapped, isolated, ineffective, and don't see any ends. Non-suicidal self-injury has other functions such as sending a message or self-punishment. Biological aspects, we can look at our brain genetically and evolutionary and socio-cognitive aspects, negative thoughts and negative moods, and it's a vicious cycle. So here are a few things depression's associated with: low self-esteem, learned helplessness, depressive explanatory style, which we'll go on to in a second, and stuck on focusing what's in the bad. Depression in a milder form may have a survival value. Under stress, depression is kind of like your social emotional hibernation. We can conserve energy, avoid conflicts, really kind of chime in on what's unattainable in our goals, and then kind of take time just to think and contemplate things. Evidence of genetic influence on depression. These three researchers, looked at studies from identical and fraternal twins, looked at the heritability of bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, anorexia nervosa, major depressive disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. So, pretty interesting. Biology of depression, brain activity. Brain activity is diminished in depression and increased in mania. Brain structure, smaller frontal lobes in depression and fewer axons in bipolar. The brain cell communication, or the neurotransmitters. There's more norepinephrine in mania and less in depression, and reduced serotonin in depression. And then finally, preventing and reducing depression. Sometimes medication helps. Increase serotonin with exercise. Go on a healthy diet, especially with olive oil and fish oils, and don't use excessive alcohol. Be mindful. Some of the medications people do go on are like Zoloft, Prozac, Wellbutrin, and some of those. The fish oil and olive oil diet is known as the Mediterranean diet, and a lot of omega-3s are included. And sometimes, even though alcohol abuse is related not only to biological changes, it can also interfere with our coping skills. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.